Hey everybody, welcome back down to the underground lair. Good to be back again. This time we have a Fender parts P-Bass. From what I can tell, it's very similar to the one I built myself. It is a Squier P-Bass. He has tape wound strings on here. Has well, let's just take a look at it. We have a hip shot kick-ass bridge that has the adjustable string spacing, EMG pickups, tape wound strings. I don't know if these are the original, though they must not be the original electronics, and I can see some peeking out of the shielding tape right here. Frets have seen better days, but they still got a lot of life left in them. And one of the things that Buddy had a concern about was this is a 9.5-inch radius, so we're going to go with our 12 thou fearlet gauge, and let's just see where we are in this. I don't know. He's got this D Chandler precision bass by Fender. Very cool. And it's called Claudius. Anyhow, just check our relief. I think there's a backbone in the neck, and it's going to be pretty apparent that there is. Oh yeah. Yeah, there is a backbone in the neck. Let's see if we can get it to release. Okay, so I took a peek here. The saddles are decked, and we are way too high on the ends, and these two are too low. So we need a neck shim. So that's our first step. I'm going to take these strings off, and we'll go ahead and put a neck shim in this and get the saddle so we can make the action right, because we are at 8/64 here and 4/64 here, and 8/64 here. So that's just wrong. Okay, so we're going to put a shim in here. I got a piece of walnut. And it's 0.02 thickness. That should give us enough to get the saddle off the deck and still be able to adjust. And that's going to go right in here. And this, by goodness, is the same, probably the same. Let's see. The year's not marked in there, and it's been painted over there. But I'm going to say this is probably a 92 or a 93 Squier made in Korea, because if you recall, the bass I built was of the same ilk, except for I took and had the 50s P-Bass shape put to the headstock. So let's go ahead and put this back in here. So this way. Put it back on. I should point out that this has been repainted. He didn't do a bad job with it. I just kind of took the rough body of mine and add a little bit more character to it. You might say relic. That's a dirty word. But I use a different strap lock system. and I use Go-To tuners. I'm not sure what tuners these are. They may be just some no-name, but they seem to work good. The bushings were loose, so I took care of tightening that up. And always remember, whenever you're putting your wood screws back into your neck, make sure you back them up before you tighten it up, so that your holes don't strip. I use the crossing pattern like you would use whenever you're changing a tire. Nice and tight. Sorry for the sniffling, folks. It's not the plague, it's just cold season. Yeah, that's going to give me more room. So, we're going to go ahead and polish the frets. I think that's the one. And maybe the next size up. Yeah, there we go. What I'll do is I will hit this with some 1500 grit micro mesh. That'll take all the junk off, any of the corrosion, whatever. Now I'll hit it with 1800, and then we'll hit it with some higher. Yeah, they're polishing up nice. There's a lot of corrosion. Not a lot, but there's enough corrosion that would make it feel a little rough to bend strings. Bridge tightened down. Just want to double check the tightness, and yeah, I did tighten these all the way. Chances are, because its pockets are notoriously not super tight on these, I may have to loosen them and adjust with force the string alignment with the neck. So we're going with Fender nylon tape wounds. They are 58 to 110. I have me a feeling that the intonation is going to be off on this based on where the saddles are. But we'll fix that when we get there. Some of the dust out of here. Alright, starting the one. It's come up here with these thin posts, and I don't want as many wraps as we had before, so I'm going to cut it 2 posts up. We had 4 wraps on that, and that was too many. I put these away already, didn't I? Alright. Goes in the hole. bends over, and we wrap it. Never played tape wounds before. I wonder what they're like, if they're kind of like flat wounds. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Another thing I like about these Korean-made Squiers, the lost my train of thought. What do I like about them? Oh well, can't remember. Okay, that's more acceptable. Okay. With these thin, you're only going to go almost 2 posts past where you want it to live. So it goes in a hole, down there it goes, and we tighten it down. Alright, we have our relief set at 12 thou. And we have our radius matching the radius of the strings matching the radius of the neck. And we did have to forcibly push down on the body and loosen, push down, retighten the screws on the back to line up the neck. And the last thing we have to do is intonation and string height. Hopefully there's foam under there now that I have strings on there. Well, we're in tune. And it's sharp. Yeah, these are too far forward. Sharp. Now that one's right. And that one's flat. So this has got to go that way. This one's got to come back. This one's got to come back. And the D stays exactly where it is. So if it's sharp, it means it's going to go that way. If it's flat, the saddle's got to go that way. The buzz that we were noticing on the D string was fixed by putting some relief in the neck. So yeah, pretty good. Let me just go ahead and do the intonation a little bit, and we'll be back. Okie dokie, everybody. We got about 20 thousandths across the first fret, so that's great. Our string height, I got, let's see here, 6/64, a little less than 6/64 and 5/64, and a little choky. I think we could raise that up a little bit. Okay, 5/64 there. And move the intonation just a little bit flat. Good. Okay, so going back to where we were, 5/64ths, 5/64ths, a little less than 6/64ths, and 6/64ths. Great. Let's make sure the electronics work. And Buddy is going to be out of town. Probably doing some vocal work or some studio work. So when he comes back next weekend, his bass will be good. Electronics making no noise. Let's see where our pickup height is. Needs to come up. Wrong way, Junior. A little more. A little more. Yeah, I'm going to put foam underneath them pickups. So, we're not done yet. Hey everybody, welcome back down to the underground lair. I forgot to turn the camera on, but we're changing putting new foam in. There's already the hard foam from EMG in here, but the cavity is just too deep for the pickup. So I'm putting some finer foam that'll just hold that up well enough to allow me to put that where it belongs and hold it up. Boom, boom, boom. See, I already got this one done, and that'll give us enough to hold it down where it belongs. Let's tune this up, get it close. I checked the relief when I came down this morning. And everything is good, so the neck has stabilized. Now I can get my tool to do the pickup height. You see, that's way too high now. These are not Allen keys, they are just round brass bent gauged. Piece of brass. I found some P-base sponges, but they're too thick. It would make it, I would have to take the ones in there out and then use these, but you'd run into the same problem over time because you're dealing with the compression of the foam. And that one's too far in. That's right. Go back here. Kind of want to get it in between those two. Perfect. And then finally this side, that can go down a little bit. Perfect. All right. So what all did we do? Starting at, let's see, what end do we start at? Okay, so what did we do? Starting at this end, we had to drop the E, A, and G strings at the nut because they were higher than 22,000. The D string is about 19 thou. I brought these all down to 20 because I just don't want them to, this one is lower than I like, but it doesn't buzz, so that's cool. These are all at 20 at the first fret, except for the D, which is slightly lower, but that's fine. You just heard me do the string height. We polished the frets, we cleaned the fingerboard. We had to take the neck off and put a shim underneath there, a walnut, solid piece of walnut, but very thin, 20 thousandths of an inch. Had to add foam to under the pickups to get the right pickup height at the strings. Intonation, and of course we had to raise all the saddles up because of the neck needing the shim. Everything was decked. Now it's up and matches the radius of the fingerboard. And tightened the bridge, tightened the little screws in the back, tightened the string tree, made sure the electronics worked, and yeah, nice looking bass. And with the EMG passive pickups in there, it's going to play like a monster, which it should. So one last thing that I noticed while I was going through this before I wrap this video up is this screw is pulling up. So, and also the output jack was a bit loose. It was finger tight actually. So tighten this screw down, tighten the jack, and that completes the task. Tighten the strap buttons. So we're done. Call Buddy, tell him get it out of here. So I want to thank you for joining us down here in the underground lair. If you like what you see, please hit like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. I love you a long time. If you live in the Pittsburgh area and you need your axe sharpened, you can just PM me on Facebook under Stringman Guitars. You can reach me at stringmanguitars@gmail.com. Take care of yourself. Take care of your neighbor. Love your neighbor like yourself. Be goofy for Halloween. Take care of the old folks. Love you. If you want to subscribe, or if you want to support, that's the word. If you want to support the channel, you don't have to. If you don't have the money, I don't want you to. But if you can, that's awesome. Patreon, it's down below. And check out the other link for my bass. That way you can see the similarities of a early 90s P bass and what you can do with them. They're super cheap. They're super good. Take it easy. Have a great week.